Guys, you're probably wondering exactly what is going on right now. A 30% fall the day before and then up to a 15% rise this morning on GME, and AMC is looking like a fairy tale. However, we're going to be able to try and bring it all together for you in this video. If you watch until the end, you're going to be seeing a ton of important information. This is a 20-part tweet by Carlos Trades here. We also have the important put everything together, including the dark pool information that we had yesterday. And finally, brought to you by this merch store today. Just wanted to show it off real quick. Everything will be getting updated tomorrow. None of this is going to be here forever. Everything is limited amount of time, and you can save on shipping. So once more, get some Moneyball merch, and that is that. So super important DD. Let's start here. Citadel is throwing buy orders and manipulating the stock downwards. Remember, this is not financial advice. This is just some of the news and financial education put together. But this is an easy explain like I'm ape about failure to delivers as well as failure to receives. So say Citadel has 100,000 shares of GME in stock. They pay for order flow from a dozen public traders who route buys and sells of GME through them. If they can fulfill these trades with their personal stock, they do not need to go public lit markets like the NYSE to get shares. Let's say 5,000 people buy 100 GME through them and 5,000 people sell 100 GME through them. Then that is 100,000. They can choose to fill the 50,000 buys with their 100,000 stock and then put the 50,000 sells through to the NYSE, so the public market only sees the sells and there is only downward pressure on the market. Essentially, they are just a great filter for pressure that they only want to see downwards, one direction. Except in this case, we're talking about 525 million shares, right? This is the 500 million shares in GME, and on the AMC side, there were 2 billion shares, 4 times this number. They are surely counterfeit shorted stock, yet as again, only about 70 million GME Class A options are currently in existence. This is 500 million, right? So if you imagine that, that is roughly 8 times the 7 to 8 times the amount of shares that even exist, which is reconfirmed in the 10K SEC filing yesterday. So we're talking about a major market player who is paying for order flow, accumulating or fabricating failure to deliver shares, and then using those fake shares to fulfill the orders of traders on the buy side while placing sell side orders on the NYSE. Essentially, it is the same as trying to turn all of your negative reviews on Yelp or TripAdvisor and then filtering them through the market so that to make it seem like I don't know, you're trying to harm your neighbor's business, right? And so you filter through all their negative reviews but keep all the positive ones on the private or the unseen version of the app, right? You cannot see the buys, but they can see the sells. The buying pressure would not impact the price because it's fulfilled without placing a bid on the market, whereas the selling pressure would make a bigger impact on the market, thus the ticker price. This explains how they've been able to make such a huge impact on the market price despite having more buying volume than selling volume. It also explains how they're able to short on the downticks even with SSR protection, right? We've talked about exactly how there are ways to get across the short sale restriction protection here. I'm not 100% sure about the SEC definition of market manipulation, but this sounds criminal to me. Maybe someone much smarter than I can chip in with what can be done to counteract this. Now, I'm not sure what the impact of the Virtue Americas and G1 execution services are. We all saw that they essentially were second and third, respectively, of the right behind Citadel in each of those public data cases. It can be assumed that they are in cahoots or complicit in essentially naked short selling the stock to manipulate the price of GME. Furthermore, there may be partners in crime to pass the buck on FTD timelines. Example, when an FTD hits the 13-day mark, it's passed on to a complicit or a cooperating entity. This is the cyclical nature of FTDs that we talked about before. Too long didn't read. The price you're seeing is hugely manipulated with the nuts and bolts of how they are manipulating it. So there we go. There is the connecting the dots around how exactly is the dark pool being used, and let us now cover essentially the saga of how GME has gone through all of these crazy cycles these past few days. Carlos Trades, AMC and GME has been a incredibly dire circumstances this past few weeks. After building up so much momentum, hedges have pulled the rug from under their feet. GME in particular has been focus of attacks, though the impact has also reflected equally on AMC. Now, let's take a step back and reflect again on how hedges have indirectly attacked GME and other meme stocks like AMC, indirectly through ETFs. Take a look at the charts here that demonstrates the price action similarly between ETFs and GME. So we have some nice little pictures here, but we already know that there's a correlation between the dips and rips for specific ETFs and the ones between GMEs in particular, right? This is just not even a speculation. We know that these ETFs contain GME, and we know that these parallel prices is exactly proof of that GME integration into those ETFs. Today, thanks to big communities like Wall Street Bets and many others, we have further proof that hedgies are becoming increasingly desperate to take down GME to the point where they have pretty much shorted the entire Russell 2000 in order to force the stock value of GME down. Right? That is one of the ETFs that is trending almost exactly in parallel with GME, especially for the last 2 days. So that is a very easy way to be able to tell what is happening there. I'll show you a picture of those two lines running in parallel in just a second. So we have this here. Let's roll up a little bit. Russell 2000. There it is. The GME 10-minute chart from the last 2 days, right? This is when GME was breaking out from $200, and then Russell 2000 shorting follows essentially exactly in parallel. A short in the last hours of market, and then a subsequent drop in GME, and then essentially the same paralleling of the day after. Okay, so back to this. You may be asking, what does Russell 2000 ETFs have to do with GME, right? How are they related? Well, GME became the largest company in the Russell 2000 index. Look at the images for confirmation of evidence or proof. There you go. Number 5, why in God's name did hedgies attack the entire Russell 2000? Well, let's look back, take the image here and keep them in, but this is realize that this is, let me put the price of GME back up, 22%. GME is on another rip passing through that 142 right now. But the real target has always been GME. Naked shorting first dropped the price, but so we have here a chart for the smooth brains. Naked shorting here for the first rip in January. ETF shorting when we saw some retail investor growth here, and then the entire market there. Number 6, not enough people sold. Then it blew up through a squeeze and more people gained confidence this wasn't going down no matter what. Then they attempted attacking ETFs, which are funds that are made up of GME and AMC shares. But people didn't sell, and now they're attacking. So this is the same picture right there. The entire Russell 2000 ETFs since initially ETFs with big GME holdings didn't work. This is a scorched earth policy for them. It's no longer simply about GME. It's about attacking everything they can to make everyone dump everything in hopes that it has an effect on AMC and GME. We're noticing the entire market as well. 8, can't overstate this enough. They are literally attacking indexes now. They are spreading themselves so much through these attacks. I no longer believe in their shorting strategy. It simply won't work. So the question stops being how long until they cover and becomes how in the heck do they even cover when they won't even be close to having money. The way I understand it, the first goes by the funds who shorted, then the notorious market makers, then they will be forced to liquidate all their assets. So they will have to pay for the shares back that they borrowed. I also suggest a big government investigation when this blows up, and tons of bailout petitions on the Senate. As you guys know, it all depends on how much money they have in relation to how many shorts they have left to cover, right? That is going to be the first half of the synthetic shorts that have to be located. If they can't, they just have to be bought at market price. We set the price, and then comes the question, well, at what point do they get margin called? Because they're not going to have enough money, even if they sell all of their assets and then cover because they continue to short. Okay. So let's see. Nobody is selling GME, and same goes for AMC for the most part. Well, they also expect a big government investigation when this blows up. And whoa, that was scary. because it implies that this price decrease is literally all an elaborate scheme. It's a lie, a fugazi, as Matthew McConaughey said. Remember, a pullback was always going to happen. All you have to worry about is not selling. These are going to get harder and redder. Remember, they are not financial advisors. I am neither. So this is not a call to do anything. Not hold, not sell, not buy. Carlos Trades says, from here on out, the whole market is also suffering from high bond yields. AMC and GME are also victims of poor circumstances of the current mood of the stock market. Even with days like today, where GME had no volume, this was yesterday, and lost over 20% of its value, actually lost over 30%, GME is, in their opinion, one of the safest stocks out there for the longest, for longing it. If you're a short-term trader, do not play with it because you will lose your money. What is coming is a red wave that will shake everyone. GME will fall below $20. Okay, this is starting to be a little radical. 14, where do we go from here? Now we wait. Hedges are raising capital through these shortings by also grabbing positions on GME and AMC and many other stocks. When they squeeze, they too will get a sizable portion of the rip. These people are POS, not stupid. Expect market conditions. Expect questionable tactics like naked shorting, index attacks, ETF manipulations, and OTC selling to continue. We've covered all of these and more. Spoofing, layering, expect to be and conversions. Expect to be vilified and mocked by the media, in particular CNBC. Your job is simple. Hold. Number 16, they will do everything they can to get your shares at a discount. Don't give it to them. You think that they are pulling all these things for nothing. They are on the verge of collapse, and honestly, the only thing that would save them is shorting GME and AMC to the point where they can actually buy some at the bottom when GME and AMC and other stocks explode, right at the top, and get some earnings and possibly get a bailout by the government. We've talked about that this actually does not work, right? If they buy a stock, they have to cover it eventually anyway. So it's the same as covering a short. If they buy a long position, riding it to the top won't matter because they have to give it back anyway. I hope I was able to provide you with counsel, advice, and a full understanding of the current predicament you are in. It took me a while to compile all this data for you and break it down in easily digestible chunks so that you understand what is going on with GME in particular and other stocks like AMC. I will once again ask you one favor, and then he asks you a favor. Very cool. Go help out Carlos Trades because this is the one of the more comprehensive understandings of exactly what's going on in the modern day. So with the combination of these two pieces of information, hopefully you go out and you spread the news, spread the financial education, share this video, like it so that other apes can find it. Thank the people right here, the Moon Platoon, for making it possible for this video to be continued. If you want to be able to support the channel as well, go ahead down in the join button or down at the Patreon link in the description below. Thank you guys, and we'll see you in the money.